So it's been a while since I've done this. Um, I was just going through some of my old videos from the past few months and rewatching them and reflecting on them. And it's been sobering. It's been a lot. I've been scared that I've been feeling like I'm regressing and just been thinking about some of the mistakes I've made. Like some big ones, it feels like. Ugh. Um, just st- stuck in fear, and hating on myself. The biggest mistake is hating on myself. It's not even just some of the things I've done or haven't done. It's feeling this hate, and it leaks, and it affects my heart, affects my ability to love people. And it's not just the hate, it's pain too, heartache, and just pushing my heart, pulling it through so much shit. Pushing it too hard. Causing pain to myself because of how much I hate on myself. Which I was finally overcoming last year. And it feels almost unreal to say it, because I've been hating on myself really hard the past few days and kind of the past month. And I've shifted. I still can shift. Even when I'm in that dark place, I can still shift. Sometimes it feels like it still takes extra work compared to where I was last year, but I can do it. I was in a good spot in certain moments last year. I can see the progress that I made. It wasn't linear by any stretch. It was definitely up and down. To me, it felt like I was just jumping onto different timelines all the time. But regardless, I think overall it was making progress. And I'm proud of myself for the last video that I watched. It showed a lot of maturity and perspective. Feels like all of the major lessons I was supposed to learn from last year, I got it. And it was calm, but honest and vulnerable at the same time. it was honest about my mistakes and also still self-loving. It was just really cool to see that I did it. I got to that place. I got it. And on top of it, it came after a really traumatizing event that was the embodiment of like my worst fear. So even more power to me for being able to do that. In a moment, I think, where I could have really hit rock bottom and just hated so much on myself. And because I did, actually, temporarily, I did hate on myself pretty bad. That day. And somehow I fucking took myself from that to this within, what, a few days? Maybe a day? It's amazing. It's just, it's amazing. And something's felt off this past week. And I've been concerned about the negative headspace I've been in. Because it's been pretty intense, and I've been feeding it. Trying to pull myself out of it sometimes, but it kind of feels like deep down I want to feed it. Like I don't want to stop feeding it. I want to like live in this muck. Because I guess I feel like I deserve it, or I'm afraid that if I transcend this, pull myself out of this like I used to be able to do, then the same thing will happen again, the same pattern, the same mistakes, and that more could be at stake this time. And so I'm afraid of getting out of this without resolving what I think must be the root cause of my mistakes. Although, with everything I've journaled about and after rewatching those videos, I think the root cause is probably still the same. And I think it's been the elephant in this room the whole time. Just like forgiveness and letting go and trusting. Not trying so hard. Less is more. Going with the flow. Yeah, ultimately just trusting and not identifying with my thoughts and emotions, not identifying with the old stories. And all of that sounds like a lot, and sometimes it can feel like it, but it's pretty simple. It's just a way of living. It's just, this is a way of living I'm being called to step up into, and I kept fighting it. Probably because the familiar feels comfortable. But this new state is, I don't identify with my thoughts, with my emotions. I can let them pass through me and just let them be, not attach to them. I don't hate on myself. I look at myself clearly. I see the patterns I want to transcend, and then I do it. And if I don't do it, then I just figure out what else I'm supposed to see. But I don't hate on myself for that. I might feel disgust for a pattern, but not disgust for myself as a whole. I think that's a key difference. And ideally just look at it clinically, I guess. Maybe there has to be some motivation there with some level of, this pattern is not okay, this feels off. Maybe some disgust towards it is warranted and needed. I think with clear seeing, it just becomes obvious that it's not working. So clear seeing, not self-hate, not shame, and to stop trying so hard. Because a little does go a long way. You set an intention, the universe creates a flow, creates a current for you. You follow the current. That's your job. That's your one and only job. You follow the current. And if challenges come up to make you face your fears, you face your fears. And you face your fears by not identifying with your thoughts and emotions. It almost feels a little forced for me to say this. I think because it feels inauthentic, because I haven't been doing that. I make, I guess, half-assed attempts, or I kind of try. This past month, I've kind of tried, but they've been kind of half-assed. And I think that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, why? If I know what to do, why am I doing the same old patterns? And I think it goes down to feeling like I don't deserve it. Yeah. Which comes from not forgiving myself. And not letting the past go, not letting the old stories go. But feeling like I don't deserve it, that feels pretty heavy on my chest right now. And you can't just push it away and deny it. You have to give it some space. You have to acknowledge it and face it. So that is what's here right now, feeling like I don't deserve it. Yeah. Feeling kind of fake. Feeling like I don't deserve it. And it almost feels like there's this smugness, this subtle smugness that pops up in the background. I think because it gets satisfaction from feeling like I'm doing the right thing without actually having to do it. From saying the right thing or making it seem like I'm doing the right thing. But to not actually do it. It gets some kind of satisfaction from that. I feel pressure on my chest as I start to say that. Yeah, it's coming up again, that smugness. He wants to be seen as good enough without doing the work. Why? Maybe because it wants to be accepted for who it already is. It doesn't want to feel like it has to try. It doesn't want to feel like it has to try to be accepted. It doesn't want to prove itself. And it shouldn't have to. There's fear there of there's fear that I made too many mistakes. There's fear that it's too late. And so there's fear that it's not worth it at this point to try. Because why? There's a fear that I'm not going to get what I want, what my heart wants. There's almost this rebuttal that comes up that I don't think comes from really me. I think it's internalized from other people. That, well, you're not supposed to always get what you want. That's life. And I feel like that's just a story. It's just a story people tell when they get hurt and they don't get what they want, and so they have to rationalize it to themselves and to other people. Like, oh, you just don't get what you want sometimes in life. This feels different. There's a fear of acknowledging it and a fear that they're right. And after everything I've experienced last year, I gotta sit with it right now, with where I'm at with it right now. There's a part of me that feels like they could be right. And that I have to be okay with not getting what I want. Which doesn't mean that I can't. And I think that's where people get it wrong. It's like you have to be okay with not getting what you want, but that doesn't mean that you can't get it. It's almost like the more you're okay with the possibility of not having it, the easier it comes to you. Which doesn't mean you don't want it. It's just trust. And believing or thinking that you can't have what you really want. Not just a whimsical desire, but like what your heart wants. What your whole being, what your being wants. To believe that you can't have that is antithetical to what this reality is. Because that's what this reality is about. Experience for experiencing's sake. And that includes pain and tragedy, but that's not all of what this is supposed to be. That's a piece of it. But as alchemists, we take that pain, we take that tragedy, and we transmute it into what we want. We use it as fuel, rocket fuel. But that means honestly facing the pain. Honestly facing the fear of losing what you have or not getting what you want. So I'll leave it there, because that's where I'm at that cliff right now. And yeah, I have to see where it leads. Find a way to face my fear. I have to find a way to face my fear and the pain. Okay, thanks.